So today we're going to look at the monsters cards for Claw and Dagger. And the first one here, we have the KIKIMORE Hatchling. Now there's only, like 2 KIKIMORE bronzes, then KIKIMORE Queen, or KIKIMOREs in the game, so it's definitely about time we got some more of those. And we have a 4 power, 4 provision with 1 armor. It has order, remove 1 boost from self, then spawn a drone, cooldown 1. So you're going to have to boost this. However, it does boost itself. When you're playing organic card, boost self by 1. So it's an engine that can also spawn you drones. Now, the value isn't super high, right? Playing an organic card, you can only have, like 12 organics in your deck at max. So you're not going to get a point from this every turn, probably. But being able to spawn drones off of it is actually really good. For anyone who's really played the decks that need the drones, the Arachas Swarm is pretty much the only deck. But I don't know why I said the deck. Yeah, it's Arachas Swarm. So whenever you spawn the drone, if they're killing your drones off, you're kind of in a lot of trouble, right? Because you want to get your payoff for having so many guys. But this helps you just gives you a way to make more drones, which is pretty nice. And I believe, what's it called? Adrenaline Rush is an organic. So you can put Adrenaline Rush on this, and then just make a drone every turn for the whole round, which is quite nice. So I think that's a good synergy you have there. Something like that with a lot of boost. And just being able to spawn more drones is actually super helpful because sometimes you just don't have enough drones. And this you can control, right? If you don't think you're going to need the drones, you can leave the boost on it and it'll keep getting taller. And then you can make the drones. The only downside is one good thing with the drone decks, the swarm decks, if you're not playing Uranokora, or Glustywarp, I mean. If you're not playing Glustywarp, they don't go tall. So you're pretty much immune to tall removal. But if you are playing Glustywarp, obviously doesn't apply, and this will also be pretty tall, so they could use a removal card on it. So, well, I guess that depends how much you boost it and how many drones you're making. But overall, I really like this. I think it'll be good in the Arachas Swarm. Arachas Swarm, I haven't seen anyone play in a long time, and it's a deck I kind of miss being in the game. To go along with that, we have the KIKIMORE Stalker. It's 3 power, 5 provisions. They're both insectoids. Should have mentioned that on the last one. And it has Veil, Zeal Order, Predator, damage enemy by 1 or consume an allied drone. Charge 1. Whenever you spawn 1 or more insectoids, gain a charge. I believe this is the first monsters card with charges. I think it is. Might be wrong, but I think it is. But this is actually a pretty good effect. It has Veil on it, so like the Redanian Agent, we're having engines coming with Veil now, which is just really nice. Kind of like the Carrick City Guard, but that one was, Carrick City Guard's obviously the best card ever. But other than that, yeah, the Veil on it is kind of nice. And when you play it, you can either use the Predator effect. We should mention what Predator is. Predator means it can only target enemy units with power less than itself. So you're going to have to boost it up to be able to use it on things. And you can boost it up by consuming those drones. And you get the drone token, the drones. It's whenever you spawn 1 or more insectoids. If you're playing the leader build, you can theoretically go 5 leaders, this goes to an 8, and then you have charges and you could maybe kill something. But obviously you're going to want to combine this with the other card we just saw and use them. They work very well in combination, right? You spawn a drone, this gets something to either consume or gets another charge. Because you're going to be consuming to build this thing up so you can eat stuff. Either that or you could put something, again, like Adrenaline Rush or something on it so it gets really tall. But I think this has a lot of potential. Just because access to a whole bunch of damage in 1 turn, even if you need setup, is really good. Like, look at Freak Show. Freak Show can do a whole bunch of damage in 1 turn and just remove a whole bunch of things. It just kills everything. But it needs setup as in you need the coins. In this case, you're kind of using the drones as your coins, right? The thing is, you have to make the drones after he comes out, and it's 1 or more, so you don't get like 4 from playing a nest. But I think this still has potential. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting. The Predator means you have to boost it, but you're probably playing organics that boost. So either your Parasite, Adrenaline Rush, something like that. And then that'll make a drone. It'll give you another charge. You could always save all the charges up for them if they play something. But a lot of this is going to come down to the flexibility of the leader, right? When your leader has 5 available charges, they have to be aware you could start killing things with this. Not to mention, if you're going to over swarm, which can happen in Arachas Swarm, right? So you're going to like a 10 card round 3, you're going to have way too many guys. And then even just using this to consume them to free up space so you get more value is good too. This is a very interesting one. I think it goes well in the Arachas Swarm. And hopefully Arachas Swarm's good, because I kind of miss it being a good deck. Then we go into the Acid Spit. So this is an interesting one. It is the Epic card. It's 8 provisions, organic. And if you use an enemy unit with if this unit has more than 1 power, whenever the opponent spawns 1 or more units, damage self by 1. When own power reaches 1, infuse this ability to adjacent units which don't have it. So, you give this to your opponent, and then you're going to want to trigger this right away, right? You're going to want to trigger the spawn 1 or more units thing, damage self by 1, and then the reach power, when the power reaches 1 part, you definitely want to do right away. Because imagine you just do this, and infuse something, and they just drop a Peller. Like, you're not going to want that, so you really want to trigger this immediately. So you can either put this on something and then leader charge until it gets... Yeah, that's probably what you're going to do. Is you're going to put this on something, then use your leaders to get it down to 1 until it puts on the 2 adjacent units. That way they can't purify them both at once. So I think that's what you'll do. The question is, how good is this? It's certainly interesting, and it has one of the highest ceilings of an 8 provision card in the game. Because if the opponent doesn't do anything, and all their guys are on 1 row, and you just start moving this through everything, it really starts damaging all their guys. But on the other hand, how likely is that? I'm not too sure. This is a very, very interesting card. I think this is one that'll get a lot of experimentation. In a long round, this certainly can add up. So you have out the new guy who gives you a cooldown 1, spawn a drone. That's 1 damage per turn, theoretically, if you have it boosted. And then you have the leader. You have probably 2 or 3 more spawn cards. That can really add up, especially if once it spreads to multiple guys. Very interesting. I'm not sure. Here's my issue with this card. Why I'm a little hesitant on it. The effect does seem good because of the ceiling so high, but the floor is also super low, because if you have this in the 3-card round 3, that's going to feel pretty bad. Now you can spawn more than 1 or more units other ways too, like you can like Night Wraith, stuff like that. There's a lot of ways you can do this. It seems interesting. And it will one thing it will do is it'll really help out with the Stalker guy we just saw, because this will help you lower stuff down below it so you can use that Predator effect to kill them. If they're at 1 power, it's going to kill them off with 1 damage. So I think that's a nice synergy, as long as you spread the effect. Of course, it'll also kill itself. Right, if it goes to 1, you don't have to Predator guy it, because the next time you spawn something, it'll kill it. This one's very interesting. We have... Is Andraga Queen, the one that consumes and gains armor, and then each turn loses an armor and spawns a drone? That might actually become key to these decks, because that will spawn 1 every turn. Then you have the hatchling that spawn 1 every turn, theoretically. Those could be very good. That could be very interesting. We'll have to... I think we'll have to see on this one. I think this is good. It's just, it'll be awkward in a round 3, but there's a lot of cards like that. It doesn't mean they're bad cards. They just mean you have to play the deck in a certain way. So we'll see. I like this one. I like the idea here. It seems very interesting. But let's move on to the last card then, which is Hive Mind. 10 provision, organic. Choose 4 different bronze KIKIMORE units. There are only 4 bronze KIKIMORE units, so you just pick one. You just pick all of them, and they don't have to be in your deck. You just pick them, kind of like if you're playing Magic Compass or something, from what I understand. It says 4 different ones, just in case they add more to the game, I think. But right now, I believe there's only 4, including the 2 we just saw. So you just pick those. You got the Worker guy, who destroys a unit to spawn a copy of itself. The 3, the one that dueled with Syndicate. And you've got the 7-power guy with the armor. So while in your graveyard, the first time you spawn a drone on the battlefield, each allied turn, transform it to the next chosen KIKIMORE unit. So you really get to do here is pick the order. And remember that this will spawn a drone off of Arachas Swarm if you have it. And I believe that drone will get transformed. So you get the first card immediately. It is worth noting this dies so hard to Squirrel. Like, this is just... It just gets destroyed by Squirrel. Which is a limitation some cards do have. But I think this is worse than most. Like, the only other card that can get wrecked by Squirrel this hard is, like, Ryogan. And, like, once Squirrel became popular, you stopped seeing Ryogan just because it feels so bad. But anyway, we've got the 4 different bronze KIKIMORE units. You get one right away, and then you can pick the order, right? So you pick which one you want. Maybe you want you want the engines first, probably, and then the 7-point guy last. Or say you're in a short round, you want the 7-point guy first. It's up to you. And you transform the drone into it. So you need at least 4 turns to all of them, including this turn. This is super helpful to the deck, though, right? Because you're going to get another hatchling, which will give you more drones. Theoretically, you have to boost it, keep in mind. And then you get the worker guy, which turns the drones into 3-power guys instead of 1, which is nice. And then you've got the predator guy, and then you've got the 7 at the end for a finisher. So I think if we add all... No, it's a 4, a 3, a 3, and a 7. So 17 points of value, minus the 4 from the drones that are being transformed. This gives you 1 point off the leader, but we don't really count that because you use a different leader. So this is 13 points of straight up value. 3 of which are engines. Now that is quite interesting. I think this is a very strong card. It's just the Squirrel Banish is going to hurt it. This is very good though. I think this card kind of makes the KIKIMORE deck and Arachas Swarm so much better just by itself. The only thing I'm seeing for this deck in general is we definitely want ways to boost our guys. Because if you're not boosting your guys, you're going to have a hard time spawning the drones. You do get points on the hatchlings when you play organics, which is worth noting. But you think you're going to want to just boost them so you get more drones. I could be wrong, though. And you're going to want to boost the Predator one, too. So organic boost cards are going to be kind of important here, I think. So that is something interesting. I'm very excited about these cards. I'm very excited about this deck. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I actually really miss the Arachas Swarm deck. The last Arachas Swarm deck was the one I made that was like completely immune to tile removal when everyone was playing Curse of Corruption, Geralt and stuff. And I got to like 25 something with that one. That was a fun one. So hopefully we can do something like that again. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about these cards. I think they're really cool, and we'll see you next time. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.